I feel so bad for Oregon State, man. Like, oh my God. I feel so bad for Oregon State fans. They lose, like their conference and basically get relegated. Then they lose their head coach. Not only their head coach, but he's taking his assistants. So that premium offensive line coach, Joe McCalzick or whatever, I can never pronounce his name correctly. They always correct me.
I think that's right.
He's also off to Michigan State. And you know what? You know who else might also be off to Michigan State? Their future quarterback, Aiden Childs.
Oof. That would just be the trifecta.
Oregon State is about to lose everything. They're losing all of their good assistants. They're losing their head coach. They're not going to have the money because they're not going to be in a major conference anymore to go hire someone else to come in and make them relevant. And this is a good fan base. They're a very loyal fan base. And I feel so bad for Oregon State because just as they were reaching this apex in their history and finally, becoming like relevant and, having something to be happy about, they're absolutely just probably never going to be good again. It's crazy. That's the first death of conference realignment.
Yes, the first casualty of realignment. It is very sad, man, especially just hearing you or somebody else like paint the picture for what's going on there. It just makes it even more sobering. Yeah, I don't know what to say,
man. I see them on Twitter and I feel so bad for them. They're so devastated. No, I don't blame them. If that was my team, I'd be devastated.
I mean, not to draw this back to Oklahoma State, but like you're thinking to yourself, Jonathan Smith had the potential to be the next Kyle Whittingham or Mike Gundy.
He did.
Like alum that basically becomes a lifer there and stays at that program and has them consistently winning. Like that is very rare because especially these days, everybody's going to take off and leave for the next best job. But if you have somebody in there, that's an alum that has an element of loyalty attached to your school, even if it's not a blue blood program, like that is like finding the needle in the haystack.
Utah, Morgan Scalley, elite defensive coordinator, has had the bag thrown at him many times from other programs, and he doesn't leave because he's a Utah guy.
Exactly. And that is you hitting the gold mine if you're not a blue blood program in college football in the modern day. If you don't have that, you just can never sustain long-term success. And there was potential there for Oregon State if the Pac-12 never dissolved. There was potential, and they had the money to fork up to pay him, Jonathan Smith. There was that potential, and it's just sad, man. I mean, I don't think there's any hard feelings by any means. I think the athletic administration, I saw like the statement from the AD. It seems like everybody knows, like everybody understands. If anybody was in those shoes as that coaching staff or those players, you'd probably do the same thing. Like you don't want
Oregon State fans are pretty upset. And I know that deep down they understand, but it doesn't stop the feelings, the emotions.
I get it, but
a lot of them were saying like, I hope you lose every game, like, stuff like that.
Well,
you're not.
We also know
back.
that they have a sect of they have a sect of fans on Twitter that are also pretty radical. But I'd say the fan.
I mean, every fan base does, but yeah, I will say, man, I understand why he left. When your university is looking at a financial deficit now, not being in a major conference, they're not going to be able to pay you the contract they just gave you, that $4 or $5 million a year that he just got from them last year. You got it last year. And Michigan State's over here like, hey, bro, 7, 8, 9 million a year. That sound good? It's like, why would you not go? It's the perfect time. And right before your program is about to go into the shithole, so to speak. Sorry for profanity, but it's the truth. And I mean, this is the time to capitalize. Oregon State was about to become a 6-5 win team with the lost resources in time if they don't get into a major conference. And he saw the writing on the wall. And he knew for his career this was the best decision.
Yeah, and if you're those players, like, you were recruited to play Power 5 football. Like, do you want to play G5 football for the rest of your career? Like, you didn't come to Oregon State to play G5 football.
I think Childs and Martinez could very well end up transferring to Michigan State.
I would not be surprised at all, especially, Childs. And then let's not forget that offensive line, some of those offensive linemen that they've been developing.